Hey everybody, welcome to What's the Word podcast, your true source for Wheel of Time banter. Silly as Julian Sandar's cap, salty as Bail Domon's beard. I do believe that's pretty salty. I am Amanda Sadai, and this is Word of Bill.
Name I've just learned.
Yes, he just became Word of Bill. I bonded him right now. It was amazing. It was great. He didn't even know about it.
Wait, sorry, not to jump in, but what's your powers? Like, what color are you?
I'm green.
Okay, all right.
Have you met me?
Like, okay.
Oh my
great.
God. We have 4 kids. If we're not green, I'm in trouble.
We sometimes talk about you being brown.
That's true. Okay, so, all right. We were going to get into the show, but we're going to start with me. Because I've been a fan for 26 years. This great serpent ring right here, I got it when I was 15 on like early internet, like before even people did much internet things. I don't know, I'm old. Anyway, Ooh. So when I was a kid, I imagined being in the green Ajah, right? Like battling boys, what's better than that? And now that I'm like in my 40s, I kind of think like being a brown would be amazing because like just tea and books, and that's already my life. So I guess that's why you're asking my Ajah. But
yeah, Bill
is changing the color of the lights in the background because we had it all set up nice, and then all of a sudden it changed, and
spooky.
I mean, the wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
Yeah, you can't avoid it. Yeah, would you say the lights faded?
You cannot run it. All right.
How good? Tell me 1 second, because it came up in one of my chats. Again, I'm gonna derail everything. How good was that? Not to spoil anything. Episode 4, that fade scene, right?
Yep.
Matt.
I see you.
So good, yeah.
So we love Matt. We're big Matt fans in this house. And I mean, there's just so much to address here. Like, one, he's so much darker and grittier than canon Mat Cauthon, but like I'm here for it. And
also a lot more motivated because of that grit.
Yes.
Right.
So one of the things that a lot of people are complaining about is are the differences between the books and the show. But I think that for the most part, they made choices that would give better motivations and read better to an audience who doesn't have all of this backstory. And so the choice to make Mat Cauthon grittier, come from awful parentage. I'm sorry, Abel Cauthon, I loved you, but you're more interesting if you're a prick. Right?
What? Is he a prick, though?
Well, I mean, they kind of kept saying Abel Cauthon's a prick in the show.
Oh,
like,
I'm sorry. Yes,
of
course. Yes.
And the mother was like, "Yeah, gonna end up just like him."
Yeah, no, it's always a tricky balancing act to know where you can take liberties with the source material, and where it's you trying to leave your mark on the work as a creator, as a writer, versus how can we enhance this? How can we take what the source material says and better it?
I think that it makes the early episodes, and there goes the light again, more relevant and timely and in the moment and immediate. So I don't know what's happening behind me. It's a light show. It's very exciting. So in the books, Matt goes along because, I don't know, it's scary. And of course I have to go along and whatnot. And that just doesn't read on screen, in my opinion. He needed a motivation that was beyond, oh shit, I gotta run. Yep. And same with Perrin, but that choice is a little bit more controversial.
And so yes, controversial. I think both of them need a little more time to play out. Mm-hmm. I definitely see where Perrin's is going to be a little bit more, rub a lot more people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Certainly from the fridging perspective, they're creating a character just to.
Right. Did not know that phrase before this show, but I get it. Like,
you want to explain it?
Fridging is when you axe a female character, usually just for a plot contrivance. And we've seen that plenty of times,
sure.
In fiction.
Yep.
Oh, no, she's dead. I gotta, do this thing. And that, I mean, Laila is in the books. So Laila, Perrin says, I think in book 4 or something, like, oh, in the Two Rivers, when I was young, I just dreamed that I'd marry Laila. Mm-hmm. And, so the show is not completely fabricating her. But I'm with Brandsand, so I'm a big Brandon Sanderson fan. I think he's awesome. Brandsand said he wanted it to be Master Luhan, who is Perrin's the blacksmith that Perrin apprentices under, which would have been absolutely heartbreaking, devastating for him to kill the man who really helped shape him, forge him.
Oh, I see what you did. That's good.
Expect this from me.
That's good.
Nay, demand it. I think that would have been great. And also, I mean, people have mixed thoughts about Fael once she comes down the line. Like, do we really want her to be the second Mrs. Ibarra? But the real thing here is killing your spouse, who may or may not have just miscarried, because that's what I think happened between them. I think that there was a baby involved. Like he was touching her belly, and she was like wicked mopey and stuff. So I think that all that weirdness between them was that she had miscarried, and they just didn't say anything. And they're probably going to say it in future episodes. I think that's way more traumatic than killing your boss. So I don't even know how Perrin's functioning right now.
Huh.
Like, he's holding a terrible secret, and he just killed the love of his life and possibly the mother of his child. If he had just killed his boss, he would have been emo enough to go on this adventure and be able to function. But that's just me and Brandsand. So my buddy.
There's a lot here. And we at some point we should take a step back, but I don't want to walk away from this part yet because
momentum. Well,
you were the one who introduced me to all these ideas with Perrin and sort of what the what's going on behind the scenes, what they're likely intending to do with the story and his backstory. And now, how does this play off of the notion of Perrin's wife in the show? Their wife, or
it was his wife? Yeah, Laila. He was married in the show.
Being a Darkfriend.
Oh, okay. So Rafe Judkins has roundly said, like, this is not the case. But if you watch this scene, Layla's behind Perrin, ready to wail on him because that Trollocs already dead. Like, Perrin went berserker, which I like that they went the berserker angle. I think it really sets up the wolf stuff really well, and the dichotomy between the hammer and the axe.
So dismissed.
Rafe dismissed it like yesterday. Like,
but hold on, can we? Okay, sorry. So I'm a little skeptical here, given Lost. Right? Remember the outright dismissal. Just forget. You get too close to the source. Get too close to the intent. Because the wolf scene as well, like that is not something that, because that whether that was was Balsamon in that dream?
He was. There's a lot to unpack in that wolf scene. So the theory is that Layla's a Darkfriend because she was, if you pause it, she was going for Perrin, and I stand by that. Rafe.
What do you know?
I mean, you're only the showrunner and cool guy. And secondly, the wolf dream. So, as we can see, the wolves are already starting to like come into Perrin's consciousness. The wolf dream is very much Teleran Riod, the world of dreams, where things are real, symbolic, or foreshadow something. Mm-hmm. And so, what do you think that the wolf eating Layla's innards meant?
Well, to me, I think it may speak to something about her being corrupt. Mm-hmm. To me, I think that again with limited context here, and I had only seen it after you. I'd seen it originally when we first watched it on premiere night, and then shortly after you showed me the clip again, I think. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's because the wolves in no way so far, they've kind of only represented good.
Yes.
Right? They haven't
well, Egwene was freaked out that they were following them, but other than that, they led Perrin and Egwene to the Tinkers.
Yes.
They kind of nom-nommed Perrin's wound a little bit, which I think was supposed to be like off-putting, but also he's friendly and cute. So I hope people don't think that like that makes him a werewolf.
Is that
because it's saliva? Like, do you think that they're implying that the saliva is what made him a wolf brother?
No, I think that that's probably just like as a bond, sort of as an exchange. I think more than anything else, that was meant to say, gonna lick your wounds, you're part of it, I'm trying to help you out. That
young
whole
thing. Bull. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that that was I lost my train of thought there.
So I have another theory about what the wolf in the dream could have been. That could have been Baalzaman trying to convince Perrin that wolves are bad and make. So say Baalzaman sees that that Perrin is forming this really great bond with the wolves, and Baalzaman is thinking, no, that's going to make you more powerful. I want to put you off from wolves, almost like a night of drinking too much tequila. I never want you to drink tequila again. You know what I mean? He sees the wolf eating Layla's innards, which forms like a negative association with the wolves. But I'm more camp Layla's no good.
Well, yeah. So I didn't hear that the showrunner had said that, but I, given those two pieces of context, it seems to me like that's a little too much to just ignore.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, again, that is a vision from Belzamon, and I would imagine that the Dark One would try and corrupt everything that you know and love, and so that
Does this make Rand Batman though?
Wait, what? Oh wow! Okay, wow, that's great. Yeah,
Right?
That's something.
Oh, we didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
The Batman reborn, perhaps.
Yeah. Now I want. Now I wish Arpats was Rand.
Rand Pats.
Right.
I would take Arpats as Rand. I love Yosha Stradowski though. Oh my God, he's
really good.
so good as Rand because not only is he good as current Rand, I can see him having the crazy eye and really going dark Rand fast. I'm talking Dumais Wells Rand.
So it's interesting because I assume I don't know what our stance is on spoilers.
We've had some.
Oh really? Beyond what's been on.
Oh yeah.
I guess I was zoning out. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Someone else was in the wolf dream for a little bit.
Yeah, always am. Got a beard. That's all I do. Yeah. That I'm curious to see. Because up to this point, I feel like Rand is really taking a back seat.
Oh, yeah.
And I think for its part, it's been for the best because I think that they've focused on some interesting stories, and it's mostly been pretty well executed. I think again, my take is that every episode it does continue to get better and better,
100%,
quality wise.
100%.
But I'm surprised at how little screen and attention Rand is getting, and. I do want, which is odd to me because he's gonna turn into a dick, and so you
not a dick.
Well, yeah. Anyhow,
a complicated,
controversial,
dick.
yeah, problematic.
I love Rand.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, but you think you'd want to get as much of that, Rand Prime in while you can. That might just drive me buttons.
So, but here's the thing, though, there's not much to Rand. There's not much to early Rand.
Sure.
And I say that with
That's
love.
fair.
I say that with, every scene he's in, I'm like, my poor sweet boy. You're going to go through so much. He's just got that sweet wool-headed sheep herder dumb look on his face. And he's heartsick because of Egwene, which I'm not a fan of that choice. So, Dark Mat Cauthon, give me some more. You're
not a fan of that interaction because you're not attracted to Rand?
I'm super attracted to
Okay,
Rand,
all
not
right.
as much as Lan.
Okay.
Malkier.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, really?
So, all right.
It
So
was the butt. The butt he was
that's
seeing.
Malkir's ass. That's
Yeah.
the joke. Tarwin's Gap.
Oh, wow.
All right. Anyways.
Not that kind of podcast.
No, it's not, but it could be. So, Yosha as Rand is just absolutely adorable. I love him. He's going to grow into such a great Rand. But the not Nynaeve thing. Nynaeve is amazing. Egwene. There's no chemistry between him and Maddie Madden. And also, I'm being a prude here, but, Rand's first time in the books is so epic that it's ruined by him doing it in the inn, in the Wine Spring Inn. Oh my God, the Wine Spring Inn is corrupted. And also, I just don't think that he and Egwene. Even with the books, it was just kind of oh yeah, we were always kind of just gonna end up together, just kind of a whatever kind of thing. And just seeing him mope around so much is just not good. I don't know. Do you like that plot line?
Well, no, I agree that he's not. Well, I think the problem is that you're left thinking that he's moping because that's kind of where they leave it. But I think it's a product of him having so little screen time, that feels like he's always doing. I think he's got a lot that he's standing for and standing against. But he doesn't really have any time to focus on that, just the what's going on. He has that one nice confrontational moment.
With Moraine.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
With Moraine, I was trying to think what the full context was there. And so I think that was good, but that was just sort of a 1-30-second little interaction, and then it was back to pining for Egwene.
Right, and Rand wasn't the type to snap, especially at a older woman. He's very much a young boy who understands to respect elders and whatnot, and he's a sweetheart. And what I believe is that one thing that the fans really missed was the scene between Rand and wounded Tam, and Tam being like, I found this baby, Carrie, let's take him home to Two Rivers. And we didn't see that, and I think it's because it's too much foreshadowing about Rand's origin story. But I think that he did have that conversation with Tam, and he does have that doubt in his head. And when Moraine starts talking, he's like, none of this is real. Totally snaps, freaks out, and I think that that's because he did have that conversation with Tam. By the way, did you know that Tam is Roose Bolton from Game of Thrones? Like the flayed man, like Ramsay Bolton was like the psychopath who like skinned people, and Roose Bolton was his dad. So Roose Bolton is Tam. So little Game of Thrones. Wow. I didn't realize that until very recently, and I was like, oh my god, it's Roose Bolton. That's crazy.
I will say that I won't say who, with the exception of one character who, casting wise, I'm not quite feeling yet. I think the casting overall has been pretty exceptional.
Yes.
Yes. And we have some biases there, primarily in the form of Lady Macbeth.
Okay, folks, and you can actually watch this for free. I am an English teacher. I love books and I love Shakespeare. And years ago, Bill took me to see on Broadway Sir Patrick Stewart as Macbeth. Oof. Oh my God! So it's my favorite Shakespeare play. Sir Pat Stew is like amazing.
However,
but the show was stolen by Lady Macbeth, who happens to be Kate Fleetwood, who happens to be Liandrin, people. She is so chilling as Lady Macbeth, like it genuinely turns it into horror. So you can find it on PBS. It's
absolutely.
Very good.
And I was almost a little distracted. She does look quite a bit different. And I'm used to seeing her on stage, and so I wasn't fully distracted by that. But that role just. It's a powerhouse role and just overshadows. Oh my god! But anyway, she's great. Again, Matt is fantastic. There goes the lights again. This is going so well with the electric.
Amazing.
I know.
So this is the first episode though. Like that's what happens. But so anyway, when I first saw Kate Fleetwood cast as Liandrin, I was like, she's gonna be wasted on Liandrin. She needs to be Elida. Like I really think that she would make a much better Elida. However, now that they're cutting the entire Camelin subplot, I wonder if Elida is even going to be in the story. We know that Elaine will eventually meet up with them, but they have not cast Morghese. They have not cast Gowan, thank God. He's the worst.
Oh, okay.
Gowan and Gowan are the worst. Sure, and I want them to have the smallest roles possible.
I thought you were saying that because you had someone in mind and you wanted to...
Oh my God. Like, no.
Do you want to be
like
Gowan?
The Invisible Man could be Gowan. I hate Gowan. Most people hate Gowan. Yeah. But anyway, casting. So, as you know, I'm a big fan of Daniel Henney, who is playing Lan. I read the most amazing thing today about him that I was like in the bank getting teary-eyed.
Really? What?
So he 11 years ago took a picture of Eye of the World and put it in his vision board and say, I want to play him.
Come on.
I swear to God, I read that today and I was like, what?
For real?
What?
Good for him.
Oh my God. I was
amazing.
like freaking out. You can see like the tears in my eyes. I'm like, that is meant to be. I love Lan.
So he's really fantastic, and this sounds really cheesy, but I don't know. However long ago, I always had it in my head that he was that Hugh Jackman was right for the role.
Hugh Jackman would have been a very good.
Yeah, I mean, so again, great. I want to see how it plays out, and he's doing a fantastic job with the role. I pictured something different.
Well, they say he's very like old and craggy and unattractive, and Daniel Henney has none of those things.
Yeah.
So, in a good way, like they brought a more attractive Lan, and so it's more like I remember reading the books and be like, why isn't Nynaeve into Lan? He's like,
and I know it's silly to go by the covers because we all know,
Daryl K. Sweet was a legend.
Yes, and
I can't wait for Rand to be like, no, so you can't. the book cover where Rand is just like. Okay.
Yeah, no.
There are many jokes about that cover.
But even, Eye of the World cover, he's got that big bulky
and
armor
Moiraine looks like a little woman from the 60s on the cover.
She does, yeah.
Like the original cover, she almost has like that, like almost like a little bouffant, like she would serve you like a Jell-O salad.
Is that what they call those?
Yes.
Jell-O salad? Okay, all right, I'll take a look for it.
I didn't think we'd go here.
No.
These were not places I anticipated us going.
Other than that, other highlights of the casting. I mean, Tom is pretty. He's not at all what I pictured, but he's pretty fantastic.
He's not Sam Neill.
Yeah, kind. I mean,
wait, is it Sam Neill? No, Sam Neill is from Jurassic Park. Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah. Sam
Neill would have been an interesting choice. No, he's not Sam Elliott, and so at some point Elaine's gonna have to tug him by the mustaches, and he doesn't have mustaches to tug, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's a lot more like together and hip and attractive, and no.
Yes, yes,
he's
cool...
a very appealing character. Whereas I felt like Tom in my head, I always had him as like great guy to hang around with, but like you don't want to be seen with him, you know. And you want to have oh, there's a child back there.
Oh my God!
The lights are. Hold on, let me see which way am I going here. Dun, dun, dun.
So Tom Maryland, you feel like it was interesting casting?
Am I wrong? No, he's great, and like I honestly, he's one of my. And again, take this from someone who has not finished the series. I understand he has a lot of. We should probably do.
Don't
better.
Yell at word of.
We should probably do better intros at some point, but as it stands right now, I from what I've read up to the fifth book, I felt like he's kind of a tag-along character, you know. He doesn't really contribute that much. What? No, the
comment section. I can just picture it. No, Tom does a lot, and he's very handy with hidden knives. He saves their asses many times, and nobody plays the game of houses like Tom Maryland. He could manipulate an entire kingdom with one note scribbled on a post-it. He's absolutely... The whole thing with Tom Maryland, he is not what he seems. And you thought he seemed kind of just like an old guy who's fun to hang around with. And in this, he seems like a cool, hip guy who will steal your purse. I wasn't crazy about that.
He's much more Aragorn, is my point.
I mean, I think that the obvious Aragorn is Lan, but
no.
Well, I mean, king of a fallen kingdom.
Yeah, but he being a warder, he's not really. I mean, I think Aragorn is all about free will, and we think it's holding him down is that burden of the past, right?
Right.
And
he's Lan can't go back to Melkir.
Yeah, and so he's running from his past. Which you could argue Lan is, but I think for the most part, Lan is doing his duty, and Aragorn is not.
Right. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, Tom could definitely be. Tom's so complicated. I'm so glad they worked in the Owen backstory this soon. They did it really deftly by making you think that Mat could be the Dragon Reborn and weaving in why A, Tom does not like Aes Sedai, B, what happens to men when they channel, and thirdly, mostly important. Here, what happens to men after they're gentled? And then that segued into the Logain subplot so unbelievably well. Let's talk about Logain. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, this is fabrication that I am behind. Like, it's already canon for me. It's like they did such a nice job making an episode that shocked a 26-year fan, but delighted. Like, I know that none of that happened in the books. Logain was introduced in a different place. He had a different backstory, but they're teaching us what happens to men when they channel, how the world sees men who channel, and the little whispers of Sidene, the taint. Well, I guess we can't call it that anymore. It's the corruption. Too many bad jokes. I'm looking at you, Wheel of Time, Shaitan posting, Facebook group. I'm looking at you directly.
They're sticking with it.
But yeah, did you enjoy as somebody who is not as well versed in the books, how did you feel about the Logain subplot in episode 4?
So this is an example where I agree that they should have stretched it out as they did. They made the right choices, I felt like, because it's a visual medium and you need to show rather than tell. And I think a lot of the description and a lot of the character and the dialogue regarding Logain was, it filled in a lot of the blanks. This was very effective, I felt. He had all the makings of a great villain, without being a villain necessarily. But I think the scene where, and while I was watching, I was like, what is the purpose of the scene? But when he's squaring off against that general or king or whoever it was.
In Gildon. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that was a very effective scene, and the way he won him over, and then you see him getting slaughtered later on. Really effective economy of words, really effective, I think, use of the screen, and just being very economical. So I thought that was very good. And again, very appealing character, to the point where I've always said that the best villains are the ones you can be in the same room with, and you feel like if you just say the right thing, you can get by. You know that they could snap at any moment. You know that they could crush you without so much as a thought. But there's that allure that, like, maybe I should follow this person. Maybe they're right. Maybe
he is a good guy. I mean, that Logain saying that he wanted the dragon to improve the world, you know, to save the world. That was kind of heartwarming. And I think they deliberately made him look like Jesus. I think that's a thing. And also, you know, as a reader, I never saw Logain as a threat, because he was introduced after he was gentled. And so seeing this new perspective of a dangerous man who's not the Dragon Reborn but thinks he is, and who can channel, was awesome. I mean, it's almost like, so there are some people who are thinking that they may fuse him and Mesrim Taim. I always called him Taim. In the audiobooks, they call him Taim. Listen, man, as somebody who read the books for years, listening to the audiobooks for the first time is like mind-bending, and it makes me feel like I've been pronouncing everything wrong my whole life. But maybe they're the ones who are wrong. Anyway, loved Logain. Episode 4 was like chef's kiss, unbelievable. I was not crazy about episode 1. But I was prepared for it, because I knew so many people who saw the early screening, and when I was like, how was it? Expecting them to be like, ah, they were all like, just wait till episode 2. And I was like, okay, so fans are still excited, but episode 1 is a letdown. There was just something awkward about it, in my opinion. So I'm a writer, so we haven't even introduced ourselves. You just know I'm Amanda Sadai, and he's Bill Sadai. No, he's Warder Bill. Ooh, not Sadai.
Ooh, not a Sadai.
Dangerous.
Can we hold on for 1 second?
Yes.
Actually, let's go to a commercial break so I can shut those goddamn lights off. Yeah. All right. Anyone want to sponsor?
It's a little soon.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So Warder Bill.
Sorry, just had to go fix that light once and for all.
So I was saying that we haven't really introduced ourselves at all, and I think that we're both uniquely qualified to talk about story.
I'm not at all.
But you are, though. So Bill was the lead designer on BioShock and the design director on BioShock Infinite. So Bill knows a good deal about storytelling, environmental storytelling. He was also the creative director on Perception. So we are video game people. I am a narrative director at the Deep End Games, and I wrote the game Perception, and I'm currently writing the game Romancylvania. So we make video games. We're married, and I've written 6 books, and Bill has written a number of games, and so we talk about story all the time.
I always dismiss my film background as well.
Oh yeah, he does have a degree in film.
Degree in film, little time in Hollywood, no big deal.
No big deal. Anyway, so we talk about story all the time. And, you know, we talk about the way shows tell stories and the way video games tell stories. And, you know, the whole economy of words that goes into taking a piece of literature and boiling it down into an adaptation. And so what I feel like episode 1 didn't get right was the directing. Most things.
Sorry.
It was the directing and the writing made it look cheap, but it was not. Like, it was not cheap. But somebody in one of the forums, I'm in every forum, you guys probably know me, somebody said it looked like an expensive CW show, and I was like, ooh, that burnt the right way.
Yeah. My buddies are all saying a Hallmark show.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't think that's entirely fair. I didn't mean to jump in there, but I think that there's some really critical mistakes that are being made there, and they're pretty easy fixes, and it feels like they may be onto that scent. It's certainly getting better per episode.
Yes.
Sorry, continue.
No. I was just getting to the fact that, like, I feel like the pacing was off. I feel like the writing didn't say the right things. Like, if you only have 60 minutes to get across, like, hundreds of pages, you should have cherry-picked a little bit better. But the direction was just awkward. Just a lot of it was awkward. But then episode 2 was like, this is my Wheel of Time. And by the time we got to episode 4, I was like, it's my people. These have been my friends for
exponentially
26 years.
better every episode, absolutely. But I mean, I think the first easy or low-hanging fruit fruit fix would be that just it's taking on too much, and it's not really. Can you imagine a series based on a Jordan property that doesn't really edit?
He's making a joke about how long the books are.
Well, that and anyway, yeah. No. So listen, I'm gonna say contradictory things here. I feel like it could have been 2 episodes easily.
It was supposed to be a 2-hour pilot.
Yes.
Right.
I didn't realize that, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
It probably should have been, despite the fact that I'm always the type to rail on, like, respect my time and don't linger. I think this definitely could have used more time to establish things and more time to let things sink in and just like really, smell the roses.
Well, I think that they spent time on the wrong things, like the women's circle ceremony. Like, you could have just braided her hair, and did we need the river? And like the awkward conversation between Maureen and Nynaeve, like being like, "You were a baby who was abandoned, weren't you?" Like, what? What is this? I don't understand. So I think that they could have used that hour of time better. However, I'm over it. Built a bridge, built a white bridge, got over it. But I worry that it's going to detract fans. Like, everybody who I've told, I'm like, watch Wheel of Time. Just don't watch episode 1 alone. Like, please watch episode 2.
There's enough there, I think, to get people hooked. And I think we're being entirely too harsh. But one of the other key things, first of all, I will say that it's my favorite part of the series, of the limited part of the series I've read. So, again, grain of salt. But the intro is very much like a horror novel. And with Rand creeping around in the snow, and but one of the things that always stuck with me was when he meets his first Trolloc and he walks in, and what's the name?
Narg no hurt.
Yeah, and it has that little exchange again. Going back to what I said about the best villains, you feel like you could say the right thing.
Narg no hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Narg not gonna axe you.
Of course,
in the face.
That's complete. He's not very truthful.
He has not held the oath rod.
not to be trusted.
That's terrifying.
So I do wish that they had let those moments hold a little bit longer. And additionally, even though I'm saying stretch that out, show a little bit less. I think the designs for the Trollocs are interesting, and I had in my head that it's a variety of different, sort of a menagerie of animal heads and that kind of thing. And so it felt to me that they were demonic in the fact that they were kind of Frankenstein. They were cobbled together of different parts and that kind of thing. And they really went for a much more unified look of them all, which, fine, I understand why, and I'm not going to begrudge that. But, I do think that they were not afraid to show them in all their glory.
Yeah.
Moving in particular was a problem.
Yeah, especially like when Moiraine used the power to twist it apart. I was like, oh, shit, that looked terrible. So we are big horror people, and our first video game perception is horror. And there's a great Stephen King quote. And what did he say? The enemy of horror is information. So basically, when you show something, you're taking away the horror. And I think that if we saw less of the Trollocs, more just like fast paced, like just like a snout here, like cut away, like a beak horn thing in your face, like really fast.
Don't overlook the power of silhouette and lighting.
Yeah.
And a lot of times all you have to do is not put the light in front of them, put the light behind them. No key lights, all backlights.
Yeah.
And,
so, but that was in episode 1. I feel like they looked much better in the other episodes, much more terrifying.
So they were in one other episode, or was it 2?
They were in episode 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, I think it was much more effective when they were taking the ferry.
Backlit.
Yeah, exactly. You saw less of them. So I think there's some real easy things that they again, wrong foot. I think that it's a question of having the faith in what you've created, and basically saying, like, I'm not going to show it all. I'm not going to show all.
Yeah.
I get it. Whereas the fades, they show quite a bit. And I think that it's just the right amount of disturbing and just the right amount of wrong and twisted familiarity that it's enough. Like, just that mouth of. It's funny because we're 2 weeks ago we saw the sandworms in Dune.
Yeah.
They had the same teeth structure, right? It's just like,
I
that's all the rage now. Is a throat full of teeth.
Ew. I did not like Dune. We can talk about that another time.
Yeah, you're gonna lose all your fans.
No, I think okay. So
Unpopular opinion.
fandoms can be a tricky thing, as we all know. As Wheel of Time fans, we are watching our fan base split, and it's really sad.
Really?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
There are people who just despise the show, and then there are people who are like, it can do no wrong. I feel like I am 75% in the camp of awesome. But I feel like as a writer, as a longtime fan, I can watch it objectively and be like, that doesn't work for me. Like
Sure.
I have reasons. You know, I'm not just blindly being like, Eamon Valda would never eat chicken like that. Like, I mean, just as a terrible example. I love that scene. Those white cloaks.
Oh my goodness,
Perfect.
yes. No, that's one of the highlights, absolutely.
Although, cutting off the Aes Sedai hand so that she doesn't channel, like, that's not right. And like, there are some big plot holes, like a lot of people discuss.
Well,
that,
so
like,
this is tricky because
yeah.
I'm not sure where they're going with that. I don't know how integral the hands are in channeling in the TV series. But I will say that to me, the parts that aren't working, and the idea, I mean, channeling works, I think, so much better in a book, right? Because you get, like, telekinesis is such a boring freaking power. Like, you know, like, God love Jean Grey, but watching them, and same thing with Scarlet Witch, right? Like, WandaVision is one of the best shows on TV I've seen in years. If you
Both
haven't seen
thumbs.
it, yeah,
Way up.
can't say enough good things about it. But it's the old, like, focus, I'm gonna pick you up, and it's just, like, it's so boring.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the best channels in the show so far, although episode 4 aside with that battle scene, that was really cool. Again, it's more just magic, and it's not the same thing where you can't feel the struggle of channeling, you know, as you can on paper. However, I thought one of the best ways to visually represent that, at least to make it feel impactful and visceral and like there's a cost, was when Moraine was pulling apart that building brick by
Oh,
brick.
that was sick. That was so good.
It was very cool. As much as I didn't like her doing all, and it was sort of like a smorgasbord of different summoning things, and again, this is where I would say, like, let's shy away from that a little bit, because she did a sampling of all these different powers, and so this is an interesting tension where they're like, we got to sell the power, we got to make it seem awesome, and I feel like it would have been just as effective if were I creating that scene. I would have it so there's no other, she doesn't do any summoning. That the entire time she's focusing, and it's like, what is she doing? And Lan is kicking ass, and like everyone's like, what is she? Is she gonna do her? Like, I thought you were supposed to be a good fighter, and then all of a sudden, brick by brick, so she's like, and then boom, saves the day.
Film school. Film school.
Yeah, that's anyway.
My big problem with the power is it comes from within, and watching external sources of the power come into Moraine and come out made no sense to me. It almost looked. You know, they say the Force, you know, surrounds and penetrates everything in Star Wars. That's something I can visualize, like pulling from all of these things. But like Saidar is in here, and I want to see things come out of here. And, you know, seeing the external, it just didn't work for me.
Sure.
That's fine. I want to see the weaves be different colors. I want to see the weaves doing more. You know, I really wanted to see a shield slam into Logain, or like I've spent so long visualizing what weaves look like and what they can do. Is I wish they had more color to them. I wish that I could see what they did. I wish they came from internal, but these are so dumb. Like, it's a dumb complaint. I love the show.
I agree with the concerns there. Although I do want to ask, are they doing the yin yang thing? Because when Moraine is summoning, it feels like there's a whitish hue.
Oh yeah, if you watch Logain, you can see the taint get on top of Saidin. It's amazing. Saidin.
Oh sure, but you. So what I'm asking is, are the Aes Sedai, are they white?
The power appears to be white all over, but when males channel, you can see the dark slick of the corruption. Okay,
that's what I was just making sure.
Go on top of it.
So I think that's probably, and plus I think I get a little bit too colorful and goofy with color. I think the color rate is interesting, but I'm sure they tested it out. But I think the coming from within thing is interesting.
Yeah, I think Rafe said something to the effect of, like, if you look closely, like, you can see the different strands of the power, the air, the fire, the spirit. the Earth. I haven't paused to look. I haven't nerded out that hard because I do have a job and 4 kids. But like one day I might just like
Don't lie.
pause,
You've
pause.
nerded out.
I have. And also, can I just like, he hasn't seen all of the bonus features yet because you can't watch them on our TV. And like, I have to like go into like my phone
So
and
what
like
is it, they're on the
the
computer?
laptop. Yeah. And they're great. Like there's these awesome animated shorts about all these cool things. And I like them a lot. And I just kind of wish they were easier and more accessible because I think that it would help explain a lot to fans who are new.
Do you mean, is it Emperor Palpatine in Fortnite level of supplemental content?
Do it.
No, it's good. It's like
Are you familiar with this?
No, you're kind of freaking me out. Emperor Palpatine
So,
is in Fortnite.
prior
Is he
to-
like doing like the little dances? and
Prior
stuff?
to, I know, right?
Oh.
Prior to episode 9, prior to episode 9's release, Fortnite had and they hyped it up or whatever, but there was like a special Star Wars event or whatever, and it was Emperor Palpatine explaining that he was coming back, and there was nothing else on this. It was like they were literally announcing that like the biggest change to the new trilogy
What?
was from a video game. And so that's
That
why
that generation doesn't even care about.
that's what. Well, I don't know about that. I
I'm
will say
being
when we went
honest.
to when we went to open house night for our kids, there was Star Wars everywhere. That was very encouraging. Well, no, I'm serious. Did you look at all the little kids things? Like all their little what they care about the most.
Baby Yoda. I mean, I like Baby Yoda.
No, I saw a lot of. Anyway, so Palpatine.
Wrong
was-
franchise, people. Okay, but no, back to so
Listen,
basically what
listen,
you're
if
saying.
you're here, you like this stuff. You know it.
Do you though?
We talked about Dune.
How about
Talked
tell us in the comments?
Yeah, tell Bill to shut up. About
What
Star Wars.
other fandoms do you represent? No, I think that's an interesting thing to see what other fandoms people like. What's like the overlap? I
Yeah.
think that would be really interesting.
The Venn diagram is just one circle of all of
An
it.
Ouroboros.
All of it.
It's not a Venn diagram. It's just
Actually,
a wheel.
on that note, now you know what? It's a whole separate discussion. The whole
Okay.
the wheel. I was gonna say like, hey, is now a good time to talk about ages past?
Yes.
And how
Yes.
Two Rivers is probably Minneapolis or Detroit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was surprised that several of my Wheel of Time friends weren't aware of that, which blows my mind because, well, I take that back. I don't think I picked it up from the source. I don't think I picked it up from the.
It's subtle. It's subtle, and you need to read a lot.
There's a whole.
so
Let's save this for another day, right? This is a big discussion.
okay, let's ask them. Do you want to hear us talk about the Age of Legends, Randland being a future Earth, et cetera, because I've got a lot to say about it.
I mean, they did show
Skyscrapers.
in the show, and
Yeah.
it's very subtle. They just fly right past, and you're like, "Oh, look at that rock formation."
So in the show, it's clear, and in the books, it is more veiled, but it's definitely there.
I don't
like
think I don't think it's. Well, so
it's
if you're looking for it, you'd be like, "Oh, that's it." But like I said, anyone else watching the show, you're gonna just look.
drop in the comments. Did you know, like what did you think about this being a future and past? Because it's a wheel. Time is a wheel, and it's the past and the future. But like, did you notice it when you were reading it? Did you, if you're just a show watcher, did you notice it in the show? Not just a show watcher. If you are an exclusively show watcher and not book reader yet,
Right.
growth mindset.
I am the day walker. I've read a little bit, watched a little bit,
And listen to me for 21 years talk about it.
Yeah,
So
I know.
there's that. Anyway.
but I did meet Robert Jordan.
Oh my God.
Was it twice? I meet him once, twice.
Once. So
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to have met the creator twice. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah,
The first time I met him, I was in high school, and I have a great picture, and we'll probably embed it somewhere or put it somewhere, but it's amazing. And then when we got married, he surprised me with a heron mark sword to cut our cake. Yeah, he's gonna get it. So there's this great picture of me cutting our wedding cake with the heron mark sword, and there it is.
Dun, dun. Ooh.
Glorious, twice
Wow,
marked. All right. So anyway, we cut our wedding cake with the heron mark sword, and I showed Robert Jordan at a book signing, and he said, "You are badass."
True story.
Yeah.
Wait, so yeah. Talk about the cake. I'll put the cake picture in there as well.
We'll put the cake picture in because it's a great picture.
Now, I was a little disappointed on the show because our sword looks quite a bit different.
Our sword looks better than one on the show.
Right?
The heron looks like a duck. The duck-marked blade. Warder Bill, guys. This is legit. It's a great sword.
Yeah, it's very sharp. Sharp enough to cut a cake.
Our wedding cake was stolen. That's a good story. Like, it's not about Wheel of Time, but like our cake was cut and it was put out, and the DJ never said like, everybody go get some cake. So we never ate our wedding cake. And then at the end of the night, the caterers or whatever packed it up, and one of our guests took it home. One of our wedding guests took our wedding cake home.
It was delicious.
All of it. All 3 tiers of it. Gone. And we never ate our wedding cake, but we did cut it with a heron mark sword. So, this was episode 1. Thank you for listening and watching.
Up already?
I mean, yeah, it's long.
47 minutes.
All right, I want to ask you guys some questions. Is 45 minutes too long for a show? Is it just right? I want to know what you think about the future Earth. I know, but there's something called episode 2 that we can get into as well.
Oh.
Fascinating. So, what do you think? Love to hear your thoughts. And I can bring more Julian Sandar silliness next time. So I mentioned that because, as I had mentioned before, I've been reading the books forever, but I was never one of those, like, I'm going to reread it every year of my life, like many wonderful people do. I just didn't do that. However, I was inspired to listen to the audiobooks because I do a lot of driving, shuttling kids around. I've got kind of random time where I can listen to things. And so I started listening to the series, and I'm on book 6, which is my favorite, Lord of Chaos, number 1.
I thought 5 was.
And I noticed, what was that?
I thought 5 was.
Not at all. No, book 6 is the followed by book 3. I love the hunting of the Black Ajah and the White Tower. Anyway, so 2 things struck me. 1, I pronounce everything wrong. But that may be because I'm from Boston. Julian Sanda goes to Dunks.
How many people do you think have heard the Jordan? Let me get
Her
you on the
name is Egwene.
The lady's name is Egwene.
If you ever were lucky enough to see Robert Jordan speak, he begins every talk with the same thing. He would say, the woman's name is Egwene. And he would go through how to pronounce all the names, and it was just, like, wonderful. But anyway, like, literally 50 times in the series, he talks about how stupid Julian Sandar's hat is in every scene. Like, if Julian Sandar's in a scene, he's like, and his conical cap. I'm thinking, like, was he like scarred by someone with a fez at some point? And like, I just don't know. Like, did you guys notice the Julian Sandar's cap nonsense? Leave a comment, like and subscribe. That would be awesome. We've got more in the tank.
Also,
believe me.
if you want to see me cut something.
Oh.
Not violent, just like an inanimate object. I'm not talking about like assassination missions. We can do that. Or Amanda, you can cut some.
If you want. If the people want it. You want it? I'll cut something with the sword.
That's fine. Cut fruit in the backyard.
Let's cut some fruit. All right.
Wow.
What's the word, people? What's the word? Thank you guys for watching.